why your kitchen design doesn't feel quite right, and what to do about it. If you walk into your kitchen every day and something just feels off, you might not be imagining it. Most people can sense when a room is working against them, even if they can't quite put their finger on it. Maybe it feels cramped, maybe it's dark, maybe everyone ends up bottlenecked in that same corner every time you cook, or maybe the space just doesn't support the way you and your family actually live. You don't need a design degree to feel the tension. A home has rhythm, and when the rhythm is off, you feel it in small ways all day long. Kitchens usually feel off for predictable reasons. The layout might not match how you move. Your zigzagging pattern between the sink and the stove and the fridge and the trash and the pantry, as if the kitchen is making you work harder than you should. Or maybe the storage looks fine on paper, but none of it is usable. You have cabinets, but they're the kind where things disappear into the back and you forget about them. You don't have enough drawer space, enough pullouts, enough spaces designed for the actual routines you do every single day. Traffic flow is another big one. Someone is always in the way. Kids, pets, guests, your spouse, everyone ends up standing in the one spot you need to use. That's not because your family is doing something wrong. It's because the space funnels people into the location that isn't meant to hold them. And then there's the lighting. Lighting determines how a kitchen feels, more than most people realize. Dark corners, harsh overhead lighting, shadows falling on your workspace, it all adds up to a sense that something isn't quite right. And the truth is, it's almost never just one thing. It's the combination of all of these little annoyances stacking up over time. It's death by 1,000 frustrations. Once you start noticing them, you can't really unnotice them. Still, most people live with them for years. They buy countertop organizers, they rearrange the cabinets, they try a different trash can. They keep making little adjustments, hoping that the kitchen will finally click. But you can't organize your way out of a layout problem. If the bones of your kitchen aren't supporting your life, the frustration always comes back. So, how do you actually figure out what's wrong? The simplest place to start is by watching how you move through the space. Pay attention for a week. Who gets in whose way? Where do things pile up? Where do you naturally prep food? Where do you instinctively reach for things? And how many times a day do you wish something was in a different spot? Your habits will tell you what your layout should support far more accurately than any trends or showroom display. It also helps to think about the routines that define your daily life. The things you do over and over again. Cooking dinner, packing lunches, making coffee, meal prepping, hosting friends. These are the anchors of your kitchen workflow. Your kitchen should be designed around those specific tasks, not around whatever layout the builder chose because it was the easiest to sell. When you design a kitchen around your habits instead of around aesthetics alone, everything feels easier. Then identify the two top frustrations and solve those first. People often think a kitchen renovation has to be a full gut job, but that's not always true. Sometimes a kitchen transforms simply by correcting the layout. Sometimes it takes a pantry strategy that actually works. Sometimes reworking the island changes the whole dynamic of the room. Sometimes it's about moving an appliance to a zone that makes more sense, or improving the lighting so that the space feels inviting again. Small strategic changes can solve problems you've been living with for years. If your kitchen doesn't feel right, there's a reason, and there's always a path forward. You don't have to settle for a space that frustrates you every day. You just need clarity about what is actually going on behind that feeling. And if you want help figuring out what your kitchen is trying to tell you, that's exactly the kind of work that we do every day. We help people understand the why. And once we know the why, the solution becomes obvious.